I never imagined that a simple job could change my entire life. Walking through the corridors of Whitmore Manor, I felt the weight of wealth and power in every detail. Crystal chandeliers glinting in the soft glow of antique lamps, polished marble floors reflecting my tentative steps, and artworks that seemed to whisper the stories of generations past. Every corner of the house exuded a quiet, suffocating grandeur. It was as though the walls themselves were alive, watching me, judging me. And then I saw him, Alexander Whitmore, heir to one of the greatest fortunes in England. His presence was magnetic, impossible to ignore, commanding the room without a word. "You must be the new assistant. I'm Alexander Whitmore," he said, his voice calm yet authoritative, carrying a weight that made my heart stutter. I smiled nervously, trying to appear composed, though my palms were clammy and my mind raced. There was something in his gaze, a mixture of danger, curiosity, and desire. It made me feel exposed, like he could see straight into my soul. The first day was overwhelming. My office, small in comparison to the grandeur of the manor, was immaculate and tastefully decorated. As I unpacked my things, I noticed a photograph on the desk. A young girl smiling in a sunlit garden I didn't recognize. Beside it, a simple note. "Some truths are hidden, but not for long." What could it mean? My stomach tightened. I tried to ignore it, yet a shiver ran down my spine. Whitmore Manor was no ordinary house. It felt alive, harboring secrets that could only be uncovered by courage or foolishness. Later, while arranging books in the library, I sensed his presence before I even turned. Alexander appeared without knocking, as though the entire house bent to his will. "Be careful," he murmured, eyes scanning the room. "Some things are fragile, like trust." His words were simple, yet the way he spoke them made the air thrum with tension. I swallowed hard. There was a moment I'll never forget. A book slipped from the shelf, and I bent to pick it up. His hand brushed mine, lightly, yet the contact sparked an electric thrill through me. I looked up and our eyes met. I wanted to step back, but I couldn't. There was an intensity in that gaze, a silent communication that left me breathless. He exuded power, but beneath it lay a vulnerability, something hidden, yet deeply compelling. The days that followed were a mixture of fascination and fear. Each encounter, each brief exchange, tugged at me, pulling me deeper into a world I didn't belong to. Alexander was impossible to read. He revealed nothing, yet everything about him demanded attention. I found myself observing his habits, the way he poured his morning tea, his insistence on meticulous detail, the subtle way his jaw tightened when something displeased him. Every gesture, no matter how small, seemed loaded with meaning. One rainy afternoon, as I hurried through the hall carrying documents, he appeared behind me, unexpectedly. "You work too hard," he said softly, and for the first time, I noticed the faint vulnerability in his eyes. "Do you ever rest?" I smiled awkwardly, unsure how to answer. There was something strange about this man, a distance and a warmth that existed simultaneously. Then, one evening, a message appeared on my phone. "Meet me in the garden, midnight, alone." My heart leapt. Every fiber of my being screamed at me not to go. Yet a curiosity, reckless and insistent, pushed me forward. Whitmore Manor was more than a home. It was a labyrinth of secrets. And Alexander, he was the most dangerous secret of all. When I finally approached the garden, moonlight bathed the stone paths in silver, glinting off hedges trimmed with obsessive precision. He was there, standing perfectly still, yet his presence dominated everything around him. "You came," he said, his voice a quiet rumble, a blend of relief and authority. His smile was a promise, teasing the edges of my restraint. I could feel the tension coil between us, unspoken yet undeniable. My pulse quickened. I wanted to run, to flee from the storm I sensed in him. But something deeper, darker, compelled me to stay. "Some truths are hidden," he said again, echoing the words from the note on my desk, but not for long. The air seemed to thicken as he stepped closer, and I noticed the faint scent of his cologne. Rich, woody, intoxicating. My mind raced. I was no longer merely an assistant. I was a player in a game of power, desire, and long-buried secrets. I realized then that I had been drawn into a world far beyond my imagination, where every touch, every glance, every word carried the weight of unspoken promises. I found myself studying him in moments that should have been mundane. How he adjusted his cufflinks with a delicate precision. How he paused when reading letters. The way his gaze softened when he thought no one was looking. There was a duality about him. Unyielding power and hidden fragility. And with every passing day, I became more entangled in the invisible web he wove around me. Weeks passed, each day an intricate dance of subtle glances, half-spoken words, and tension that simmered beneath the surface. One night, I caught a glimpse of him staring at an old photograph of a young boy I did not recognize. His fingers traced the frame lightly, almost reverently. "Who is he?" I whispered, more to myself than to him. He turned, his expression unreadable, but his eyes flickered with a pain I could not name. That was the moment I understood. Alexander Whitmore was not just a man. He was a fortress of secrets, and I was the one daring enough, or foolish enough, to attempt entry. As night cloaked Whitmore Manor in shadows, I realized my life had been irrevocably changed. I had been drawn into a world of power, obsession, and hidden truths, where each revelation would be more dangerous than the last. And standing there, under the silver moonlight, I felt it, the pull of something irresistible, the promise of passion and peril entwined, and the undeniable truth that Alexander Whitmore's secrets would soon become my own.